With the Olympics approaching, all eyes are of course on the athletes who will be representing India in Paris. Besides their physical well-being, this time the focus is also on their mental health, and to ensure their mental well-being, sports psychologist Divya Jain and Dr. Sameer Parekh will be accompanying the athletes to Paris to assist them before, during and after the games, focusing on performance enhancement and managing stress. In this special telecast, we're being joined by Divya Jain to talk about the importance of mental health for athletes. Divya, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. I begin by, of course, asking you how crucial is mental health for Olympic level athletes?
We cannot deny the importance of health and fitness. And when we look at health, there is no health without mental health. So whether we're looking at performance enhancement, players performing to their absolute peak, being able to give their best, right? It's absolutely the need of the hour. In fact, if you even look at the WHO and what it says, right? Health is not just about the absence of a disease. It's about your ability to cope with the pressures, about how well you learn, how well you're able to work, yes, and how well you're really able to contribute and live to your full potential. So I think, when it comes to Olympic sport or sport at any level, ensuring that the mental health and well-being of our athletes is absolutely essential.
So, Divya, what advantages would you say there are then of traveling with a psychologist, especially for a tournament of this magnitude?
If you look at the Olympics, you have to understand the kind of pressure that these players are going to be under, right? They've been training, several of them, for perhaps over a decade. This is the moment that they've been waiting for. There's also so much of scrutiny that is going to be on them, the fans, support staff, media, all of those aspects. So there is a lot of pressure that can take place. So whether we're looking at the performance enhancement aspect of it, how well players are able to focus and tune out the noise, how well they're able to cope with the pressure, making sure that they're able to perform to their best, or we're looking at the mental wellness aspects. What are the other kind of stressors that they're experiencing? Is there any other kind of personal concerns that might be coming up? So addressing all of those and having someone there real time in person can actually be a huge advantage to players and help them get the right kind of support at the right time.
Okay, and in your experience, Divya, what are some of the mental health challenges that you've sort of witnessed in your career that are faced by athletes?
Across the spectrum, if we look at mental health across the board, right, 1 in 7 people in the world do have a mental health condition that they suffer with. And in fact, the International Olympic Commission has been doing a lot of work with athlete mental health, and in a consensus statement that they released a while back, they found that 33% athletes even reported symptoms of anxiety and depression. So there is that element of mental health as well. But what we also have to look at is the well-being aspect of it, right? How well are players able to sleep? What is their routine like? How positive are they feeling? How confident are they feeling at that time? And then there is the spectrum of their performance enhancement.
Yes.
That after they're feeling confident, they're feeling positive, how well are they able to focus? How well are they able to zone in that moment? So that the years that they've been training in that time, how well are they able to actually convert that at a moment where it matters, which is also going to have an impact moving forward as well.
Okay, and do you feel that a great precedent is then being set by the IOA, which perhaps needs to be followed across sports, even including cricket?
Absolutely. Honestly, if you'd asked me this question 8-10 years back, that psychologists, mental health experts would be accompanying the contingent, I wouldn't have believed it. And the fact that this is the first of its kind initiative by the IOA to send mental wellness experts as part of the contingent, I think it's path-breaking. And hopefully this effect is going to trickle down with younger upcoming athletes, something that will go down to the grassroots, also adopted by sporting bodies across as well.
Absolutely. And on the point of it helping beyond the athlete, do you think the prioritization of mental health will in fact somewhere help enhance sports?
Yes, absolutely. I think, when it comes to sport, there are so many challenges that a player has to go through. There are so many hurdles, obstacles right from an early age, having to pick between studies and sports and what kind of pressures come their way, staying away from families for a prolonged period of time, traveling so much across different time zones, constantly the pressure of the highs and lows. You're constantly confronted with wins, losses, so much public scrutiny, that those are all pressures, those are all obstacles that do keep getting added. And if we're able to provide the right kind of ecosystem where we're ensuring the psychological safety of our athletes, that's definitely going to encourage more and more players to get into this field and to contribute to the sport as large.
Absolutely. Divya, I'm sure a lot of people are also a little curious about what I'm going to ask you next. Is there some sort of a program for consultation with the athletes that has been developed, or will the athletes approach you whenever they feel anxious or under distress? What really is the mechanism going to be?
So, a variety of aspects. So, we're going to be part of the medical team, which is going to be supporting the entire contingent. The idea has been to make sure that the athletes are aware about this provision that's going to be there. So, reaching out to players before the games, reaching out to their coaches and support staffs and federations to let them know. All our contact details have been shared. We've also been able to interact with some of the athletes so that when you're going in there, players are already familiar. They already know who's going to be there and who they can reach out to. So, whether it's support before the games, during the games, as well as after the games, frankly, all of those are going to be essential. So, we're going to be working very closely with the medical team as well as all of the athletes and the support teams that they have, and also just work towards creating an environment of positivity and well-being at the games.
Okay. Divya, before we let you go, one last question. Do you feel that there needs to be a mental health program that not just for senior athletes or athletes that are part of certain contingents that are going abroad to compete, but also for upcoming young athletes as well at the grassroots level?
I think it's absolutely essential. In fact, this is something that we find happening increasingly in schools, where we are talking about life skill education, we are talking about mental health curriculums for schools as well, so that there is that greater mental health literacy. And the same also needs to translate into our sporting institutions from a young stage as well. And again, that's why I think that this is such an important step, because when upcoming players who are just starting out are able to see that their role model senior athletes who are going for these games are also embracing their own mental health and looking at the performance enhancement and what psychology can do in that, it is going to encourage people, also bring about a change at the policy level, where top sporting leadership of the country is endorsing that mental health is important. That is going to have a trickle down effect, and that's going to help us create a new generation of athletes who are more resilient, who are more confident, and who also look after their own well-being as they strive towards their success.
Absolutely. Divya, thank you so much for joining us on NewsX. It was a pleasure talking to you about what really is this transformative move by the IOA.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.